Halito. Let me see. Can y'all hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? What's up, beloveds? How y'all doing today? I hope y'all had a good weekend. Y'all can hear me now? Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know. I got that blue screen of death. You know, back in the days when your computer screen turned completely blue, that was time to send your shit to the computer graveyard. Yeah, so my sound hasn't worked since, I did the last live. I don't know why it's not working, but what can I do about it? So I'm just gonna stream this from my phone. So, what's up, y'all beautiful ones? Yo, it's good to see y'all bright and early this Sunday morning. What's happening, B Down? Orlando, what's up, beloved? Joanna, sweet love, Pompano, Third Ave, Empress Ahoya, Ayoka. Indigenous Leo, how you been, baby? What's happening? Star Strike, Cherokee Tolu, what's up, baby? Stephen Redclay, Marvis Duran, Haya Heru, Chad Murdoch, what's up, beloved? Big up yourself, baby. Chad, you've been around a long time. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. I hope some of this information, I'll get back to what's going on over there in the islands and stuff like that and see if we could come up with some viable solutions for y'all to, make sure y'all can protect yourself the way y'all need to. David Taylor, what's up, good brother? The teacher. He the teacher right there. I love that man. I love that man. Him and his beautiful family. What's up, Julian? Hi, sis. Thought that you was taking a nap. Sean the Creator, Ohio Player. What's up, baby? Star Strike. Yes, it's a beautiful day today. Everybody woke up with all their faculty about themselves. You know what I'm saying? Um, that picture that I posted in the thumbnail, I just want to give a shout out to my aunt that passed away, my godmother. Very, very important person in my life. She's gone. I woke up with a headache and crying this morning. When I got off the live the other day, as I was crying, she was passing away. I was already emotional about something else, but as that was happening, that's where, she was making her transition. And my phone was ringing and I had to get off of the live because the phones just kept ringing back to back to back to back. And when I saw the area code of the call, I knew it was something wrong. And it was the news of my godmother, my aunt passing. And she was something else. She was so beautiful. She was absolutely beautiful. Very wise woman. She taught me a lot. She taught me a lot. And more importantly, it was great to sit with the elders. I spent from 2010 to 2014 and I surrounded myself with elder women that had a bunch of life experiences and knew a lot of things. They had some of the things that I was going through. Thank you, y'all. Some of the things that a lot of us sisters are going through now, they done been through it, got over it, life done moved on, and they're enjoying their 50s, 60s, and 70s. And I suggest that women, you get you some friends, some female friends that can advise you, that you can, that they can give you a lot of wisdom and stuff like that. It doesn't always just have to come from grandma or, somebody in the family. With those other outside sources too, they are very important. Very, very important. I'm telling you, a crackhead could tell you something that could change your motherfucking life. You can't really exclude, a lot of the vehicles that truth comes from for your own personal reasons. You know what I'm saying? Some people really think that, drug addicts are just a waste of space and don't have anything, that they can learn from. And I just want to tell y'all that's absolutely not true. It's not true at all. You can definitely learn what not to be a part of vicariously through someone that's actively going through some crazy shit. But my godmother, she was married to Keith Cowboy from Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. And he is attributed to coining the term hip hop. And he was a very real cat. He was a very real cat. He even in the 80s, he didn't play that boule Hollywood bullshit. He didn't play that shit. Had a lot of people under pressure. Shout out to the people that didn't sell their soul but was able to do what it is that they love to do. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that, and I learned a lot about integrity based off of people turning down opportunities that could have completely changed their lives, but it's not as though that they settled for integrity, a dollar or your dignity, and it was important for them to have their dignity. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, he's a legend. He's definitely a legend. I don't know so much about, well, Grandmaster Flash is too, but there's some, personal things that I could talk about that I won't talk about. I just want to give homage to Keith Cowboy Wiggins. Okay, he's a cowboy. He knew who he was. All right, but yeah, she's going. She's with the ancestors now. Got somebody else that loves me, on the other side that is going to make sure that I'm safe and protected the same way she did when I was here. So I'm definitely gonna miss her. I'm definitely gonna miss her. And I'll hold all the wise words that she told me, the funny things, and all the things that I shared with her. She literally took them to the grave with her, and I love her very, very much for that. Love her very much. They helped me come to terms with depression, and we had conversations about mental health, and conversations about being brutally honest, and being able to get in touch with yourself and identify and articulate what it is that you feel without being embarrassed or being ashamed, because it's the people that hide those things or don't want to acknowledge those things that are actually the ones that are in situations that are far more detrimental and potentially dangerous as a result of their lack of acknowledgement of a condition that's existing and prohibiting them from moving forward in many areas in life. So I was just really fortunate. I had to speak to older women, especially at the time when my son went to prison. I was able to, to voice how I felt and to get some comfort around other women who had sons that went to jail and went to prison too. You know, but just sitting up under them was just like a serious, serious comfort to me, and I appreciate them. I appreciate them for everything that they've done. You know what I'm saying? When I spent all that money on that lawyer and stuff like that, we shared meals and shit. You know what I'm saying? I got the eggs, she got the turkey bacon, this one got the grits. It got hard and late in life when you used to always have it, and then something happens and you're humbled. You know, you're humble to just the basics and stuff. And once you make it out of that, you realize there's so many things that you don't need. And at the end of the day, you realize that, what's that saying? I say, may you have all that you want, but may you want all that you have. You know what I'm saying? Makes you just appreciate shit a lot more. So, um, I pissed a couple people off, just fucking being honest. Like I pissed a couple people off, and that's not something that is always my intention to do. Not always. Sometimes I want to piss people off to get a reaction out of them. Not a negative reaction, but just some reaction, especially for those stagnant, dormant people that don't go right, they don't go left, they just don't fucking move at all. And when they do, it's usually something that isn't conducive to anybody's well-being. And you just don't want people walking around thinking that shit is sweet in that regard. So we got this big old five head bitch, and if I was on the computer, I would definitely pull a bitch picture up so y'all could, be on alert for this big head bitch. So let me clear up the interpretations, right? Let me clear up some of the misconceptions and shit like that, so everything is clear. Cause like I said, I don't chew my cabbage twice. So because I didn't shit on trannies, because I didn't go on a gay bashing tirade and all this other stuff, and I stress the importance of what their nationality is versus what their sexuality is. I got accused of being a feminist. Let me see, of denying patriarchy. Why would I accept that? So is the mother, so is the child. Whatever the condition of the mother is, the nationality of the child is the condition of the child. That's it. That's the law of the land. That's everywhere. You see? So when you have these people and they scream this patriarchy shit, they're coming from a dogmatic approach because none of them will be able to name a land that they can actually attach themselves to where that was how it went. With the exception of maybe I think it was the state of Maryland, unless you have ancestors there for a certain window of time. Maryland, because it was saturated with Germans and foreigners, Maryland and Pennsylvania, those are the ports where all of your European trash came through. Okay. So, with the exception of that, that would be where they had patriarchy. So, whatever, if your father was a free man, then the child was a free person. If your father was a slave, then the child was a slave. Follow the condition of the father only for a very short period of time in that particular area. That's it. So outside of that, and this goes for different continents as well, your nationality is established by your mother. If you look at Title 5 in the U.S. Code, it tells you the mother decides the nationality of the child. Period. Dot. Whatever the nationality of the mother is the nationality of the child. It's not my fault. Phoenix didn't write it. I don't care if you don't like it. That's what it is. That's what we have to go by. Okay? So, let me just make this shit real clear. There is nothing going on that any of the transsexuals have going on that affects me in my life. At the moment where it does, I know how to handle myself. But just to go out and attack people that are not infringing on my rights per se, I don't have any femme to male, she's trying to talk to me or harassing me or any of those instances. Ain't no trannies trying to get at my children and making them feel uncomfortable. It's not happening in my mother's area, my siblings' area. Why is it that I'm supposed to have so much concern about it, right? And even the people that may have a direct connection or something about it that may have hurt them, pissed them off, or did them wrong, that is an individual person that did you wrong. It doesn't mean that every one of them is like that, period. Just how they stereotype so-called black people, and they think that most of these dudes is purse snatchers and sexually aggressive and deviant and these things like that. You can't say that about everybody. One apple does not spoil the whole bunch. And if you can't honestly come to terms with that, then I don't know what to tell you, because if you allow personal things to propel how it is that you engage with your own people, that's when it becomes a problem. Okay, so a lot of what I talk about, what I've experienced, comes from a situation that started with my son. I make that very clear. I don't hide that at all, right? That's what formed the fire that has me going. But the fire was already there. I just needed something to propel that, to light the match. It was going to happen one way or another. It just happened to be that my son had this situation, right? But the best part about the situation is, look at what has happened as a result of that. So much more good has happened as a result of what they did to my son, that now going forward, he and I both have something solid that we can talk about, and we can explain to people how these things happen. Now I'm able to articulate to you how it is that they wind up stealing time from our people when I couldn't understand it before. Now I have a clear understanding on how to do it. And I'm able to share those experiences with other people that have the exact same problems, right? So, but that does not make me hate all people. I don't hate all people as a result of what happened in my particular situation. I know who those devils are, and I called them out by name. Got their names. They didn't just have ours. They didn't just have mine. I got their shit too. You see? I don't let nobody invite me to a party, and I don't know who all gonna be there. You see what I'm saying? So much good has come out of that conversation. Wow, smoking big. I had no idea. I had no idea. A lot of people are saying this. I didn't know that there was so many problems. A lot of people say they don't get the notifications, when I'm going live or something like that too. They be messing with me. I'm telling you, my computer hasn't worked since then. My computer has not worked since the other day. But as far as this shit goes, you know what I'm saying? People taking the wrong shit too serious, and then they let all these other areas on a micro scale in their everyday lives just slide by. And you take a topic like Nipsey Hussle was a female to male and all this other shit, and it just stirs up emotions and all this crazy shit at a time where it's grief and stuff like that. And if it's propelled by a grief that you had, that makes you even cornier, because that means that, you know, oh, I can't afford to get an ice cream cone. So when you walk back from the ice cream truck, boop, I smack your cone, your scoops off the top of your waffle cone. That shit ain't right. I have no right to do that. You see what I'm saying? You got to deal with the people that fuck with you accordingly. You can't just go taking it out on every fucking body, especially if your shit ain't together. You just can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. There's some serious consequences and repercussions that are going to come with that as a result of just flying off the handle and not really, thinking things through all the way. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. So I'm telling y'all, I'm not gonna chew my cabbage twice. You still got pan fries, talking about whatever it is that they talking about and shit like that. But they can't disprove this shit that I'm dropping. You can talk about my weave. I don't give a fuck. I got hair though. Talk about that. You don't talk about that. So when I wear my hair out, that's beyond my shoulders. When I wear my hair out, you niggas want to talk about how I talk. Then when I'm talking proper, you want to talk about, when I wore a weave or something like that. Like, they got to do better than that. They got to do better than that. You know what I'm saying? And the sad shit is, none of that is going to affect me in my everyday life. And I know that that kills some of these motherfuckers. So because I made this video, you had this bitch she only came around to be nosy. A lot of these motherfuckers only come just so they could be nosy and sit there and wait for their time to be mad at me and call me a bitch and tell me that I'm leading people astray and all this shit with no proof at all. With no proof at all. And I really don't like when motherfuckers be lying. Bitch, don't call me a feminist, because I'm not with all that shit. Don't call me that. I'm a family woman. You can't call a motherfucker that had the same nigga for 25 years a feminist. You can't do that. You can't call somebody that is able to maintain a household effectively with the respect and honor of all your children a feminist. You can't. You can meet the people that I grew up with in my formative years, right? And they'll tell you that what type of person that I am. See, that's what's important. It's about the people that actually know and love me. That's who I worry about. I can't really so much worry about people online that think I'm supposed to change it or edit the way that I speak to make them feel more comfortable. That shit ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And whatever it is that I speak about, not only do I believe it to be true, when I give my opinion, I give my opinion. But when I'm giving the truth, there's no rebutting that. You can't rebut it. So then it becomes a matter of, somebody wanting to personally attack me. Primarily, it's mostly men that do it. Every once in a while, you get a chick that's, I don't even want to say it. You get a chick that's, bobbing and weaving in these dudes' inboxes trying to get at them. See, a lot of people don't know. I've been on AOL. I've been on the internet since 93, 94. And they used to, before there was a MySpace, before there was a Facebook, and all these other social media platforms, before there was Google Plus, before there was Twitter, there was something on AOL called Ebony Voices. In Ebony Voices, I have people that's on my Facebook that I've known since 2002, 2003, from AOL. And this was a live chat. We didn't have the fancy emojis. We had to sit there and learn how to place characters in order to display a happy face, how to make it look like you're winking. We didn't have all this fancy stuff. So I have grown with this transition of social media. So there's a lot of things that I don't interpret the same that somebody that may have in just the last 10 years have been, feeling, as far as some of the comments and how to deal with that. Now, granted, in a text message, you can still feel the energy, but sometimes you can misinterpret, what someone was trying to articulate. I'm not really one to get at that, to feel so sensitive. When I tell y'all, this shit used to be Ebony, New York, Ebony, Georgia, Ebony, these states, it was all Ebony. It was called Black Voices, and it was a something. And this is before Black Planet and all of that. And when I tell you some of the things that goes on, then it's just like you could liken it to high school. You could liken it to the boys in the hood, the boys and girls in the hood, the same shit. People trying to cut, they trying to get next to people. They feeling freaky and they want to do what it is that they want to do. They determined they will get out and move from New York to Minnesota to go meet a nigga that they never met that said some fly shit to them online, and they feel in all types of ways. And then when they get out there, the nigga out there trying to cut their head off, all types of crazy shit. I done seen it all. I've seen it all. So a lot of this shit is new to other people, but it's really not new to me. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I said that to say, I want to know what makes some of these people think they're going to shake me out my boots. What make them think they're going to stop me from saying what it is that I say? And the pilgrims, the people that are temporarily in control, don't stop me from saying what I say. They may limit it. You seen how these dudes was fucking with my feed, and my software. I had that blue screen of death. My software and shit ain't worked like that for a long time. But in real life, real time, the way that I challenge these pilgrims, these oppressors, is serious business. And it's second nature to me. I don't know how to turn it off, quite frankly. I'm always in go mode. Maybe sometimes when I shouldn't be, but I'm always in go mode. And the reason being because, a lot of people, they tend to fall off the wagon. You know what I'm saying? They be talking like they Indian 5 days out the week, and then as soon as they go back to work on Monday, they back to black power, right? They back to putting curses and spells and shit on themselves at that point. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that is the reason why I don't turn off. I'm always on go mode. Always on go mode. And that's not a bad thing. My shit ain't stressful at all. Not in that capacity. I don't allow certain things to stress me out. I learn better. That shit contributes to a lot of problems. And I like myself. I like my body. I like how I take care of myself. And I know stress is just as bad as putting heroin or anything else in my body. Stress is like serious. And for the people that think that, just because they don't drink or they don't smoke or don't do any drugs or anything like that, a lot of people think that they still be better than people, and they be suffering because they be putting Twinkies, all types of hot dogs and unnatural nasty shit in their bodies, and they just think that they could say something about the motherfucker that smoke weed, right? This shit is crazy. So you got those type of, hypocrites and shit like that, but motherfucker will die by the fork too. Just please know that. You will die by the fork and all that soda and Pepsi and Coca-Cola and shit you're putting in your bodies and stuff like that. Motherfuckers go days without no water in their body. They think just because they drank some juice or they drank some fucking soda or something, quench that little temporary thirst, they think that, they hydrated and shit like that. That shit ain't true. That shit ain't true at all. And sometimes I don't think people know it was very important that in these drugs that had a lot of our people hooked. I don't know if y'all know cocaine has sugar. Uh, all these crack has sugar in it. Heroin has sugar in it. It has different types of anything that ends in coast is a sugar. But you want to know what the difference is with weed? Weed is oil based. So it doesn't just completely leave your system immediately either. And this is why it lingers around so long, because it's an oil based drug. You see, it's a little different. So now you have these people that overeat. Sugar is how they were able to attack us, because we associate sugar with love. We associate sugar and something sweet. Valentine's Day, don't you give something away for their sweetie, right? They give you chocolate, they give you candy, they give you something sweet, and it makes people feel all euphoric, and it makes them feel all warm and fuzzy inside, right? A lot of people don't understand that. Sugar is not good for you either. If you feel like you must have it, go back to brown sugar. Go to coarse brown sugar. That might be a little better for you. Might be a little better for you. You can even make juices with it. You can make, like limeade. My uncle makes this wonderful limeade with the fresh limes, and he uses brown sugar. He uses brown sugar, coarse brown sugar. You really got to start it off with hot water in order to dissolve the granules. But at the end of the day, once it's cold and chilled, it's really, really good. You see? So there's some things that people could do better for themselves while they sitting high, looking low, thinking they're gonna sit there and judge everybody else for all their vices and stuff like that. Listen, you got to start balancing some of that shit out and putting away some of those. And then there's the people that got the addictive tendencies too. They just really extreme. It's like no gray area. You know what I'm saying? It's either really this way or really that way. You know what I'm saying? There's that people that hover on that, and they have addictive behaviors even though they may not be doing any type of drugs or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But people got their shit with them, and they always want to sit there and talk shit about somebody else and don't even consider what type of shit they be into and what they contribute into. But they got something to say about everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, Michael L., you can guarantee I won't, honey. You can guarantee I won't quit. You can guarantee I won't quit. You know, I learned better than that. Winners never quit and quitters never win, right? That's a whole fact. That's a whole fact. So, anyway, like I was saying, the refined, bleached sugar, you gotta leave that stuff alone. Not to the point where it makes you unhealthy. A lot of these things are direct contributors to how your brain works and how your chemical imbalances. Some of these things we can't avoid. We have environmental stimuli that is also a direct contribution to some of the state, the mental state that a lot of people are in with their mental health and shit like that. So sometimes you got to move yourself from your surroundings in order to feel better. If you are around sunshine a little more, go out and get fresh air, you'll probably tend to be less depressed and less sickly. Sometimes just go sit off somewhere, meditate, spend 5 minutes in silence by yourself. No TV, no radio, no phone in your hand. Don't check Facebook. You could go a little while with just being in tune with yourself. Sometimes you got to spend time with yourself. And a lot of people are afraid to do that. They're afraid to do that. Not a good idea. You got to get outdoors too. Nothing wrong with it. Before they finish cutting down all the trees, go outside and go look at a few. Go hug a tree or two. Walk barefoot in your yard or something. Connect yourself. You got to connect yourself at some point. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. What'd you say, Lavette? Oh, yeah. Yeah. You gotta make sure. That's why Cherokee told her, you know what's crazy? My sister and I used to tell people all the time, we're twins, but we still was born alone. It was one at a time, not both at the same time, right? Still alone. There's no bunk beds and caskets. This is why people got to learn how to deal with themselves as individuals and shit like that. And once you are able to become comfortable with yourself, you can effectively work with others in your area, in your community, right? You could do that. You could do that with ease. And it's not such a burden to be around, you know, in those settings. It's not such a burden. If you are able to, you know, keep yourself from your own devices that are no good for you, you'll be able to encourage other people for that same thing, to do the same thing. You know? So I ain't gonna hold y'all too long. Let me see what this sound is like, because I did have a presentation that I wanted to do. I got some documents I want to show y'all. So let me try and figure this sound thing out. So I could get back to the Google Hangouts, and I want to do this presentation. So give me a few minutes. We're going to get this together. I'm going to test this sound out so I can show y'all a couple of these documents and I'll give y'all a little spicy meatballs in regards to genealogy. All right. Love y'all. Chapisa la chique.